My name's Harvey Beach. I'm one of the co-founders of American Truckers United. My family's been in the trucking business for 43 years. Um, Truck drivers have been a part of my life all the way back to my diapers. Um, Trucking office workers have been a part of my life all the way back to my diapers. Today, my company, Everyone on Time Safely, we have 300 power units, and we've got 4 kids right out here on this floor. So the third generation, they're getting a really, really good lesson in grit and character as we all try to navigate these unprecedented times together.
And then how about you, Shannon? What's going on, brother?
Yeah, thank you, Alex. So I'm Shannon Everett. I'm the other co-founder of American Truckers United. I'm second generation trucker, so probably 40 something years combined in my family as well. I've got 2 boys that are coming up into the trucking industry right behind me. I started cutting my teeth right out of high school, got my CDL when I was 18 years old, drove a truck for a couple of years for my old man and his company. At the time we had 40 or 50 trucks. Worked into dispatch, worked into sales, helped take 40 or 50 trucks up to almost 1,000 trucks when we sold it to a public company back in 2014. Stayed there, managed that for about 5 years under contract. I always tell everybody that was my prison sentence. Once that 5-year term was up, then I was able to go do something different, and I left there and bought into a little company of reefer trucks, about 40 trucks, and have since sold that and merged it into a larger operation. I'm currently running about 110 trucks.
There's been a ton of rumors and speculation about what exactly is going on in Arkansas, so we wanted to film this short video to clear some of that up for you. Representative Wayne Long filed the Secure Roads and Safe Trucking Act at the end of February, a bill that was intended to address the drivers on our highways who cannot read and understand English and therefore cannot read our road signs, and to address the reduced licensing standards these drivers have been abusing. So we all owe a debt of gratitude to Representative Long for being brave enough to speak up for all of our Arkansas truck drivers, our crash victims, and the motoring public, a public that's been vastly unaware of the safety epidemic that existed on our highways until this bill was filed. But since his filing of this bill, we've been experiencing a shadowy group operating behind the closed doors at the Capitol, lobbying members against our hardworking Arkansas truck drivers. We honestly didn't believe that this group would have the nerve to identify themselves as working against a bill that makes our highways safer, more secure, and would protect Arkansas trucking jobs. But boy, they have sure showed us wrong. Not only did they officially reveal themselves as opponents to HB 1569, they have also now filed a separate bill, a bill that would legalize foreign CDLs and foreign learner's permits for use on Arkansas highways. That's right. The Arkansas Trucking Association wants to change current Arkansas law to include foreign learner's permits. The Arkansas Trucking Association has now made an official statement that they are not only in opposition to the Secure Roads and Safe Trucking Act, but they go on to insinuate that the public safety issues we've addressed in the bill and the economic impacts being felt by almost all of our Arkansas truck drivers are not meaningful. While in the same breath, they seem to prioritize highway funding over public safety. During the same week that their bill was filed to reduce licensing standards, our country experienced a rash of commercial motor vehicle accidents, with many people being injured and even killed. In Austin, Texas alone, 5 people were killed and 11 people were injured when a truck driver who could not understand English and is being reported to have been operating on a work visa plowed into the back of stalled traffic at 80 miles per hour. This week, we're going to have our first committee hearings at the Capitol to discuss all of these issues. And we will need everyone's support as we face off with the Arkansas Trucking Association and their attempts to put corporate interest over public safety and our fellow American truck drivers. we are uniting because American truckers have had enough. We've had enough of our fellow citizens being hurt and killed because of reduced licensing standards. We've had enough of our fellow drivers having their wages stolen from them when they are forced to compete with these drivers working on slave wages. We've had enough of our legacy trucking companies being put out of business by this new foreign cohort of companies who have no regard for our industry's regulations. They have no regard for our industry's culture and no regard for the safety standards of our country. So let's all stand together this week, be prepared for a battle, but announce American roads require American safety standards. They require American wages, and American truck drivers are gonna unite.
Hey, Mother Trucker. So before we get into today's video, we definitely want to hit the highlights of what's going on with this, right? So there's been a lot of news and information and rumors about things that are happening in Arkansas. We have two gentlemen here, Harvey and Shannon, and you guys run the American Trucker United. Actually, on the page on X says American Truckers, correct?
But it's American Truckers United.
Gotcha. So we're going to put links down below. I want you guys to follow these guys. These guys have a wealth of knowledge, old school trucking family,
There you go.
and care about this industry. And that they wanted to be on the show to just talk about the things that are going on. So let's go through some of these highlights right here that people will get in this interview. First thing first, I want to talk about is everybody's talking about this bill, this 1569 bill. Can you tell me a little bit about this bill?
1569 is the Secure and Safe Roads Act of 2025. In this bill, we're addressing English proficiency for commercial truck drivers. We're addressing the different types of driver's licenses that we're seeing from foreign commercial truck drivers. And we're also establishing criminal penalties for guys who are in violation either of the form of driver's license or the English proficiency.
I just want to say that Bill 1569 is trying to get commercial truck drivers off the roads of Arkansas that cannot read our road signs or temporary warning signs, while also protecting Arkansas truck driver jobs, as well as Arkansas trucking office worker jobs.
Yeah. So we don't need everybody to lose focus. The bill has not passed. And while, we're excited that everybody is happy about the bill being in process and that we're working on it, everybody needs to remain focused that we still have to get this bill passed. And so I'm sure maybe some officers have asked some questions, or maybe they've mentioned or hinted at this bill that's taking place here in the state of Arkansas, but it is not yet law. And we've got to get it across the finish line. And so we really need everybody to not rest and think that, hey, we've already got this accomplished and this is done. No, we're in the middle of a fight right now, and we need everybody's support.
I gotcha. So, since it's not a law right now and this bill is moving forward, I heard there is a hearing that's going to happen real soon. Can you give a little information about when this hearing happens? And then, of course, I'll put links down below of your guys' X channel so that, they could follow along.
So they have not yet scheduled the hearing for House Bill 1569, the Secure and Safe Roads Act, which is what we lobby for. They have, however, already scheduled the hearing for the opposition's bill. That hearing will be on Tuesday at 10 a.m. And you can go online and Mother Truck will put the link up for you where you can follow that hearing live.
Arkansas Trucking Association, they have this bill that you're talking about right now that they're going to have a hearing on tomorrow. And that bill opposes your guys' bill.
That's right.
And so can you tell us a little bit about what their bill states and how that opposes your bill?
So really the two bills are doing two different things. Ours is addressing the English proficiency. Ours is addressing the non-domiciled commercial driver's license. Ours is establishing criminal penalties. Their bill is trying to create language around allowing, they're changing state law that currently says that you have to have a U.S. or Canadian commercial driver's license to operate in the state of Arkansas. They're changing that to reflect that you can have a commercial driver's license from another foreign jurisdiction, so long as it's an FMCSA approved jurisdiction. Now, we know from their original draft that that language used to say any foreign jurisdiction. So we believe the new language they put in there is just their new way of saying any foreign jurisdiction. And so they're trying to legalize really using a non-domiciled commercial learner's permit and a foreign commercial driver's license in the state of Arkansas.
I appreciate that. And Harvey, can you, definition of non-domicile, can you let the people know
Yeah.
that maybe never heard of
Yes.
that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Again, I've been trucking literally around it my entire life, and I had never heard of a non-domiciled CDL until, we started investigating all of this stuff. And in this bill that they have proposed, it talks on and on about requiring a certain group of drivers to possess a United States work authorization, which it's referring to the EAD, Employment Authorization Document, which is the seed and door of how someone obtains a non-domiciled CDL. They come into the country, claim asylum, they are given an EAD document, they go use this EAD document to obtain a non-domiciled CDL.
No, thank you. Thank you for that. And Shannon, I know, send me this graph that we were talking about. And then what I'll do, Mother Truckers, for everyone out there, is we'll put this graph that shows the difference between the bill that you guys are trying to pass versus the bill that the Arkansas Trucking Association is trying to pass, and those differences. So no, that'd be good there. And the last thing that I want to talk about here is I heard that Arkansas Trucking Association has finally made a public statement, and can you guys talk about a little bit about what that public statement was?
Yeah, I can. I just want to go on the record to say that I believe that statement was about as tone deaf as anybody could imagine. It insinuates that what we are trying to address and again, we are here trying to prevent an Austin, Texas type accident in our home state. The statement, it insinuated that our issues that we're trying to address are not meaningful, and that the trucking associations seem to be more concerned with legal scrutiny and federal funding than highway public safety.
Well, I think about all this right now. Is a lot of the stuff that comes out, I don't want to use, ATA and things like that, but they're big on pushing like this big trucker shortage, right? I mean, like everything's a darn trucker shortage, right? And from the way I'm talking, you could tell that I don't believe there's a trucker shortage. I mean, I get it. It's some companies, they can't pay their drivers well. Well, a lot of drivers now with social media and talking to other drivers, they might not want to work for that company, right? And so do a lot of these associations just truly believe that there's a trucker shortage, and because of that, they have to write in these bills and try to make in these laws to get in more insertion of drivers? I mean, what's your guys' thoughts about that?
We definitely hear that from people who aren't in the industry. They have bought into this lie that there's a truck driver shortage. And I think what we're trying to convince everyone with the data that we're sharing and the illustrations. I don't know if you've seen this infographic that we've done, but we actually have the opposite. We have a supply problem right now in the industry, an artificial supply problem where people have been dumped into the industry, and now it exceeds our capacity to maintain a stable system. The supply has increased so much. That's why you're seeing the crash in rates. That's why you're seeing the spike in truck prices. That's why you're seeing all of these anomalies that we're not used to seeing in our industry, because we have an artificial injection of something that's not typically there.
No, I hear you. No, I appreciate you for sharing that. And Harvey, I know you wanted to talk about that opposing bill a little bit.
You guys mentioned the driver shortage.
I know it's pissing you off already, right?
Well, so the problem is for most of my career, over-the-road truck drivers have not been paid enough, and their quality of life, it's just the sacrifices that they know they're making. And I know we've got highway cowboys and highway cowgirls, and they, there's parts of the job they like, but nobody likes being gone from home. Nobody likes taking showers where a bunch of other people's feet have been in the last 24 hours. They're cooped up in a truck that's about the size of a prison cell with all of their stuff. And so we know the health problems that are caused by sitting continually, being on the road, and you really got to be disciplined if you want to try to eat right on the road. And it's hard for us all to have that kind of discipline. But most of my career, I have watched journeyman diesel mechanics. And when I say journeyman, I'm talking 8 to 10 years of experience. You've put yours in and you've done a good job and you've developed your craft, and your work history is good. And the journeyman electricians, plumbers, HVAC people, and even dealership mechanics, the journeyman, they're making more than the long haul over the road journeyman truck driver.
And the truck driver's having to sacrifice more.
Yeah,
He's having to sacrifice home time.
that's right. And the truck driver is out there on the road, gone from home. So, and the truck drivers are closer to a pilot. They're much higher regulated. They're out here on the roads operating in the middle of the innocent public with their lives in their hands, right? So they are even held to a higher standard on the job, which in my opinion should demand a higher pay than someone that does not have the lifestyle that goes along with being gone all the time. And they're not so regulated and have folks' lives in their hands. So the poor old American truck driver, when e-logs went into play, and I used to be I was a partner with one of the big mega carriers. Okay, so I understand that the regulations that have come from the trucking associations for the last 30 years have all been promulgated by the mega carriers trying to drive the smaller operators out of business, right? So when e-logs came into play, and the mega carriers, the one that I was a partner with, I can remember the chairman saying, this is going to get everybody a raise. This is going to get everybody a raise. And it did. It truly did. Driver wages started going up. And of course, I've been an astute observer, I would say, of driver wages over my career. And we saw them start to go up. And the drivers were getting a wage correction that they sorely needed. And I couldn't believe it when I read it. But the Biden action plan actually talks about drivers' wages in a negative connotation. And it says in 2021, driver wages went up 7 to 12% across all segments. Well, it was well deserved, and it's been well needed for a long time.
Amen.
But then in the next sentence, because of that, the administration is taking action. So literally, the poor old truck driver out there was finally getting a little bit of a wage correction. And we're not talking 30, 40%. We're talking 7 to 12%. And the administration goes and floods the market with all of this artificial injection of foreign slave wage trucking capacity that unfortunately came with a whole lot of safety problems that, we don't get any rewards for self-policing ourselves, Mother Trucker. I haven't saved any insurance money. We've got one of the safest fleets. The last 2 years in renewal, 3, 4 of the biggest insurance markets in the industry have told us that our claims are in the top 15% in the industry as far as our loss ratios. Everything looked really, really good. And that's because everyone on time safely. It's not in the name of my business for no reason. We believe in being good stewards of our roads. But this driver shortage issue, how can we have a driver shortage when the freight rates out there indicate that we are more grossly oversupplied than we've ever been. And we're seeing freight rates that are 25 years old when our costs are super hyper inflated. So there was a wage correction taking place for the American truck driver community. But we don't have a driver shortage. We have a quality of life weighted against the pay problem. And you know, the driver community, they're more mad and demoralized than they've ever been today.
Because they're competing with slave wages. The only reason that you have the pay problem is all of these carriers are having to compete with slave wages, and so they can't give these drivers more money because they're constantly losing market share and even going out of business as they try to keep up with the competition using the slave wages. It's a perfect storm. Our industry is really in bad shape overall.
Yeah, and to go back to this bill that they have put forth, you know, I have never been political in my life, and man, I am learning things as we go that honestly, they're just, I mean, I guess the word disgusting is all I can think of right now. And there's so much misdirection in some of the language put forth in some of this stuff. And you know what this bill, in my opinion, represents? It represents an attempt to use some language about some immigration documents that would appear to the layman that this is a bill that is attempting to clamp down on this problem. But this employment authorization document that's listed in this bill, the EAD is the source of how all of these folks are getting a non-domiciled CDL. So to require that everybody has to have an EAD, that's not addressing the problem. They're getting an EAD. They claim asylum in a state where they know the immigration judges are just like a sanctuary state, I guess, for lack of a better term. And they're immediately given asylum and they're given an EAD. And then they go use that EAD to get the non-domiciled CDL. So for us to put a bill out there that's requiring everybody to have this EAD in their possession, the majority of them are already going to have it anyway. And that has nothing to do with can they read our road signs. And there's nothing in this bill that does anything to address English proficiency.
I hear you. And so, I mean, we don't want to speculate here, but if we're just having a conversation, you know, why is the Arkansas Trucking Association
I
making
would
this
love
bill?
for everyone to ask them that.